conference on 2019 geopolitical and strategy global changes at Diplomatic Institute for the East African Regional Community. Paul Kagame has been elected president at the 20th summit. Welcome to our newsroom. All of the Diplomatic Institute sheltered the day before yesterday afternoon a conference on the great mutations of the world. Listen to the comment.
Global political and geostrategic changes has been chaired by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mohamed Ali Hassan, in close collaboration with the Ambassador of France, Mr. Christophe Guillou, and the Director of the Diplomatic Institute, Mr. Moussa Ali Megaga. This session, given by the eminent and famous French geopolitical scientist Pascal Boniface, focused on the political changes that the world knows, a world order in full recomposition between unipolarity and multipolarity, and among others, the vast redistribution of the cards of the power between the great and emerging nations since the end of bipolar world. The eminent intellectual with a geopolitical and geoeconomic approach has made a global overview with the backdrop of the uphills that the planet knows. Mr. Boniface enlightening the participants with a high-level audience of the administration and pleaded to the Djiboutian intellectuals from academic institutions, the third, but also youth. At the end of his speech, Mr. Pascal Boniface had an exchange with the rather concurred public. Regarding the Republic of Djibouti, Mr. Boniface spoke of the geostrategic uniqueness of the Republic of Djibouti in the map of global issues. The Director of Diplomatic Institute, Mr. Megak, stressed the importance of establishing a partnership between the Diplomatic Institute and the Institute of International and Strategic Relations, of which Mr. Boniface is Director for the sharing of knowledge and expertise. It was indeed a very studious Thursday afternoon for the participants of this conference who have not seen the time spent.
The Ministry of Housing, Urban Planning and Environment, in collaboration with the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, has celebrated yesterday, as well as countries around the World Day of Zones Welland in the Welland Haramus Loyada localities in Douda. Listen to Hidayah Mohammed.
Rest of the world, Djibouti has celebrated today the World Wetlands Day in Haramus Loyada lands in the Douda locality. For this year, the theme is Wetlands and Climate Change. The theme aims to highlight the important role played by the wetlands as natural solutions in climate change adaptation and mitigation. The day was chaired by the Director of the Environment and Sustainable Development, Mr. Hussein Rirash Roble. World Wetlands Day is also celebrating the anniversary of the Convention on Wetlands, the Ramsar Convention, named after the city of Iran on February 2nd, 1971. Wetlands are among the most productive environment in the world. They are the cradle of biological diversity. They also maintain high concentration of birds, mammals, reptiles, fish, and among others, and are also important stores of plant genetic material. The Republic of Djibouti ratified the Ramsar Convention on 22 November 2002 and inscribed Haramus Loyada 3,000 hectares on the list of wetlands of international importance Ramsar sites with a total area of 3,000 hectares. Haramus Island and satellite islets are nesting, resting, and refugee areas for over 70 species of water birds. In the marine waters, there are also dugongs. Green turtles also frequent this area of ecological importance. To make Djibouti's wetland known to the wider public, students in the 5th grade class of Douda School and their teachers participated in the celebration of World Wetlands Day. The students were able to observe this exceptional landscape, but also took part in the cleaning of the area.
The 8th edition sessions of the exercise Cutlass Expresses started in Djibouti last week, and those are for durations of 2 weeks. More detail with this magazine.
The ceremony of the 80th edition of Cutlass Express exercise was attended by the Major General of Djiboutian Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, Chargé d'Affaires of the U.S. Embassy in Djibouti, Mr. Alexander Hamilton, U.S. Navy Rear Admiral for AFRICOM Heidi Burke, Commander of the Navy Lieutenant Colonel Ahmed Dahir Jama, Commander of the Djiboutian Coast Guards, Colonel Waisim Al-Bukure, and Deputy Minister of Security of the Federal Republic of Somalia. Motivated by its geostrategic positioning located on the side of our country at the gates of Strait of Bab el-Mandeb, one of the most used international trade maritime routes, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Mergeli, and his government have put in place all efforts to combat all forms of illegal threats and activities in the maritime domain. The annual exercise Cutlass Express helps to forge ever closer ties of cooperation and collaboration with regional and international partners in the common will to fight against the threats in the maritime domains. Cutlass Express exercise sponsored by the United States Military Command in Africa, AFRICOM, aims to improve regional cooperation, maritime awareness, and information sharing techniques to build the capacity of East African countries and those of the Western Indian Ocean to effectively combat illegal shipping. Cutlass Express is one of 4 African maritime exercises aimed at enhancing cooperation expertise and information sharing among stakeholders to enhance security and safety in the African region. For almost 2 weeks, these naval corps conducted large-scale exercises off the Gulf of Aden to better harmonize their knowledge to combat all forms of illegal traffic and especially to eradicate piracy at sea. Several speeches marked the launching ceremony of the 2019 edition, all of whom wish to recall the objective of this exercise, which aims to provide an adequate solution to the enslavement of the merchant navy. The Chargé d'Affaires of the U.S. Embassy, Mr. Alexander Hamilton, has in a word explained the reasons for which the United States of America gives its unconditional support for the securing of the waters.
Cutlass Express will practice the gathering of information and awareness about what is happening offshore, fusing individual facts into useful information, and passing that information between national maritime operation centers.
For her part, Rear Admiral U.S. Navy for AFRICOM Heidi Burke thanked the government of Djibouti for the holding and success of this annual exercise.
First, on behalf of the United States Africa Command and the United States Naval Forces Africa, I would like to thank the citizens, the government, the military, and the media of Djibouti for the heartfelt welcome you have provided to all of the participants for Cutlass Express.
It is in this context that Lieutenant Colonel Ahmed Dahir Jama, commander of the French Navy, accompanied by Colonel Waisim Al-Bukure, commander of the Coast Guard Djiboutian, jointly visited the Naval Training Center of the Coast Guards to inquire about the smooth running of the training. Cutlass Express exercise is an annual exercise organized by AFRICOM with African countries with a maritime facet on the Indian Ocean. The 2 leaders were introduced to the ongoing activities in this exercise, both in terms of lectures and practical activities that will take place on land and at sea. They were able to have informative discussions with trainers from the United States of America, the Netherlands, and India, who are in charge of the educational component of the exercise. The 2 officials also had the opportunity to discuss with the participants from the countries of the sub-region who will benefit from the rich and adapted program established within the framework of this exercise. This visit was an opportunity to highlight the close ties of collaboration and cooperation that unite the 2 national institutions responsible for maritime security and safety, but also share a common vision of openness to the region and to the world to strengthen collaboration with their international partners, according to Lieutenant Colonel Ahmed Dahir Jama. Thus, it has become essential that this action is part of a regional and international logic to respond effectively to the threats posed by maritime piracy and maritime terrorism in the maritime world.
As part of the promotions of handicraft, the Ministry of Trade, Handicraft and Tourism recently organized a show sale of Djiboutians handicraft. The expo sale took place Thursday at the Casino of Haramus. Through this day, we aim to promote craft and promote Djiboutians culture in its diversity. In all, 22 Djiboutians craftsmen were able to display their product, which both soldiers and foreigners admired and brought together to help promote Djiboutian handicraft for 3 days. People are invited to come and buy what interests them, especially ready to wear designed by the hands of young seamstresses who can make you happy. Here are the words of the directors of the Casino of Haramus during the expo sale which took place the Thursday at Casino Haramus. As part of the operation Djibouti Clean City, the Coast Guard of Djiboutians undertook in the day of Saturday, February 2, 2019, cleaning operations of Nasser Street. This is a new testimony of the social actions in which the Djiboutian Coast Guard is involved, who has already participated in such operations on the Nasser Street. The cleanup operations that took place on this road today consists of a complete collections of litter and wastes. The Djiboutian Coast Guard was supported in these operations by the city of Djibouti, the services of ADR, and the residents of Nasser Street who took part in this social activity. Colonel Waris Omar Bukhari, commanders of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, and the mayor of the city, Fatouma Awale Osman, welcomed the smooth progress of the operations and renewed their vows to join forces to strengthen the actions and escape of Operation Djibouti Clean City. Under the aegis of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, the multi-purpose room of Guled Stadium hosted this morning a competition organized by the Djiboutian Federation of Dakar. Listen to the report.
Entitled President's Trophy is dedicated to the President of the Republic to thank him for having instituted the discipline in national sport. Also, the finals were attended by the Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, Hassan Mohamed Kamil, UNFD Vice President Mrs. Hasna Hamad Bil, the Honorable Ali Zaid, the President of the Djiboutian Federation of the Category, Medina Salah, as well as many high personalities of the country. This competition, which brought together a few hundreds of practitioners, aims to allow officials to assess the level of members, but also to popularize this great discipline to the public. In her speech, Ms. Hasna congratulated the organizers and called on the population to join massively this national discipline that reflects our values.
The Regional Swimming League hosted yesterday the first days of regional championship in Tujura. Indeed, this day saw the participations of the club of the school, primary schools and high school, general high school, technical high school, and others of the White City. The success of these disciplines among the young people of is palpable. The organization of this day by the Regional League of Tujura has been very successful and demonstrated the professionalism of the regional team of Djiboutian Swimming Federation. Have taken by this day the Vice President of the Regional Council, Mr. Abdul Qadir Umar, the headmasters of the Technical High School, Mr. Gabas Mohammed, the wives and many parents of athletes to show their support to the Regional League. Mr. Maki Ahmed Maki, president of the league, expressed his warm thanks to the prefect of the Tujura, the president of the National Federation, for their unwavering support of the Regional League for the blossoming of youth and the promotions of sport king of the White City. Despite the lack of an adequate infrastructure, including the lack of an Olympic swimming pool, young swimmers from different parts of the White City are more than ever ready to move forward on water sports and in particular on swimming. For the international scene, Paul Kagame has been elected new president of the regional community of East Africa. Report with Hindebrahim.
President Paul Kagame of Rwanda has been elected the new president of the regional East African community. He takes over from his Uganda counterpart, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Kagame steps down later this month as president of the African Union. He will be handing over the Egypt's Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as he backs up for his role as EAC president. The main agenda of the summit was to review plans for the establishment of a common currency and a political federation. The bloc, meanwhile, elected a new chief justice for its judicial win in the person of Lady Justice Soda Jaziri. Her mandate starts on February 13.
U.S. To withdraw from nuclear arms control treaty with Russia, rising fear of a new arms race. More detail with this report. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.